Welcome to the Mindset Matters podcast, where we talk about small changes that lead to big results. Have you ever felt like you need a complete life makeover? You look around and see things you want to change. You want to be healthier, more organized, and more present. So, you make a grand plan. You'll wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, read a book, and meal prep, all on the same day. For a few days, maybe even a week, you're on fire. You feel amazing. Then, life happens. You get tired, you miss a day, and suddenly that whole grand plan falls apart. You feel like a failure, and you're right back where you started. That's a cycle so many of us are stuck in. We think that to have a life-changing result, we need a life-changing moment. But what if I told you that real, lasting change doesn't happen in a single dramatic moment? It happens in a series of tiny, almost unnoticeable steps. It happens through the power of a single habit. This episode is about abandoning the idea of the all-at-once overhaul and instead focusing on just one domino. The single habit that, when pushed, will create a ripple effect of positive change throughout your entire life. The myth of the big moment. Let's talk about why we fail when we try to do too much at once. Our brains are hardwired to resist major change. It's a survival mechanism. When you suddenly try to upend your entire routine, your brain sees it as a threat. It creates a ton of psychological resistance. Think of it like trying to move a giant boulder with your bare hands. It's exhausting, and you're likely to give up. This is why New Year's resolutions often fizzle out by February. We set these huge, ambiguous goals like, I'm going to get healthy, or I'm going to be more productive. The sheer scale of the goal is overwhelming. There's no clear first step. The secret to lasting change isn't about willpower. It's about strategy. Instead of trying to push the whole boulder, we're going to find a small pebble we can easily move. That small success builds momentum, and that momentum makes moving the next pebble and eventually the boulder so much easier. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts with just a tiny bit of snow, and as it goes, it picks up more and more, growing into something much bigger than its initial size. That's what we want to create with our habits. How to choose your one habit. So how do you find that first pebble, that first domino? The key is to pick a habit that's easy to start and has a clear, immediate benefit. It should be so simple that you have no excuse to skip it. Don't pick, I'm going to exercise for an hour every day. That's too big. Instead, pick a habit like, I will stretch for 5 minutes every morning. That's easy. It feels good, and you'll be more likely to stick with it. Let's look at some examples. If you want to be healthy, don't start with a full diet overhaul. Instead, start with, I will drink a glass of water first thing every morning. If you want to improve your mindset, don't try to meditate for 30 minutes right away. Instead, try, I will write down one thing I'm grateful for each day before bed. If you want to be more productive, don't try to tackle a whole to-do list at once. Instead, I will write down my top 3 most important tasks for tomorrow every night before I go to sleep. The habit you choose should feel almost trivial. You should think, that's it? That's what's supposed to change my life? Yes, that's it. Because the goal isn't the habit itself, it's the consistency.
The 2-minute rule. Now, to make this single habit even more foolproof, I want to introduce a concept from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's called the 2-minute rule. The rule is simple. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. This rule is brilliant because it removes the barrier to entry. If you want to read more, your goal isn't to read a chapter. Your goal is to read 1 page. If you want to be a runner, your goal isn't to go for a 5K. Your goal is to put on my running shoes. The point of the first 2 minutes isn't to achieve a result. It's to master the art of showing up. The act of getting started is the most important part. Once you put on your running shoes, you're more likely to go for a run. Once you've read 1 page, you're more likely to read a second. This makes the habit feel effortless. You're not relying on a surge of motivation. You're just following a simple, easy-to-complete instruction. The ripple effect. The magic of this approach is what happens next. That one small habit, once it's consistently in your life, begins to create a ripple effect. Let's go back to the drink a glass of water habit. Once you do that every morning, you'll start to feel more hydrated so on. The first habit doesn't just change one thing, it changes your identity. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who wants to be healthy and start thinking of yourself as a healthy person. You're building evidence every single day that you are the kind of person who is consistent and takes care of yourself. And that new identity is what truly changes your life. So my challenge for you this week is to stop thinking about a complete life overhaul. Don't worry about all the things you should be doing. Instead, I want you to pick just one small habit and commit to it. Make it so small and easy that you can't possibly say no. Will you drink a glass of water? Will you write down one thing you're grateful for? Will you just put on your workout clothes? Don't think about changing your life. Just pick one thing and do it. Start today and be amazed at where that one small action takes you. Thanks for listening. Join me next time for our episode on embracing failure as your greatest teacher.